In this video, I'll be going over the difference between multiples versus factors. The definition of factors are numbers that can be evenly divided, means that there's no decimals or remainders after you divide by such number. And multiples are numbers that can be multiplied by integers. You will basically be skip counting, kind of like times by 1, times by 2, times by 3, times by 4. So that's what multiples are. We're going to go through two examples here. The first one is the number 6. So we'll first find out what is the factor of 6. When finding out the factor, we always want to start with the number 1. And then we would put the number itself at the end. Because 1 times 6 would be 6, and 6 times 1 is 6. So right off the bat, we will already have the first number and the last number. And now we would need to find the middle numbers. So the next factor will be 2, because 2 times 3 becomes 6. Now the next number, we have 3, because 3 times 2 equals 6. Now the next number, 4, doesn't work because 4 cannot times by a number and will become 6. And 5 is also not a factor. So lastly will be 6. So therefore the factor for 6 will be 1, 2, 3, and 6. Now what about multiples? For multiple, we're doing skip counting. So first one will be 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. And so on. Now, what about the next example here, number 12? Let's find the factor. In this case, we're going to place a 1 and a 12 and see what numbers fall in between. 2 will work because 2 times 6 is 12. 3 will work because 3 times 4 is 12. And 4 will work because 4 times 3 is 12. And 5 doesn't work because 5 cannot times by a number to get to 12. 6 will work because 6 times 2 is 12. Then 7 doesn't work, 8 doesn't work, 9 doesn't work, 10 doesn't work, 11 doesn't work, and lastly 12. So these 6 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12, would be a factor of 12. Now what about multiples? So let's start the skip counting. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times 5 is 60. And so on. So these two examples are how you will find factors and multiples. And these are very important when it comes to finding the least common multiples, because that's when you would need to know how to find multiples, or if you need to find the greatest common factor. And that's when you need to know how to find the factor for each number. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and thank you for watching.